entered the room, because they demand leadership, they demand attention. They have things done a particular way and you need to do it their way, or it's the highway. So they like things to be in a particular order. They like structure, but they have a very fiery digestive system. Get out of the way if they're hungry, because they'll knock you out of the way. They need to eat, and they need to eat now. They can be more fair in complexion, more sensitive to the heat, to the sun, but they have a medium type body type. The Kaffas are the more like the gentle warriors. They're more like the chilled out ones who just walk in, nothing really worries them. There could be a fire going on and they go, oh really, let's go and get this done or this done, where the Vatas are running around like crazy. The Kaffas have a strong structure. They have a lot of muscular build, and they can have a lot of adipose tissue and hold fluid. So they don't need to eat much. They only need to eat twice. They just love eating. So don't invite them to the dinner party, because they'll eat everything. The Vatas will pick, and you know, the Pittas are ready to kill someone at any particular time.
I love
your joke, right?
They're great, very visual.
So, you know,
just to let you know, we've got different people in the chat recommending different things to build immunity, which I'm sure you'll get to, and someone saying that they know that they're a Kapha and Pitta. So there's some people who are familiar with Ayurveda group, as well as no doubt people that have never heard the word before. So you will.
So by the way, that's a good point. If you've never heard anything about Ayurveda, if you know Deepak Chopra, most people know Deepak Chopra. So Deepak Chopra is an Ayurvedic doctor, but he used to be an endocrinologist. So he studied Ayurveda because he got sick of giving people drugs. His father is a cardiologist, and now, you know, he's linked with Oprah, so they do a lot of meditation stuff. But basically, if you look at anyone who's like high in Ayurveda, it has its own science and its own process. So this is how you have your personalized path to health. So we link something which is linking your profile to your mind type, right? So we have a certain way that your mind works, and we have a certain way your body type. So I just whip through the body type stuff, which, you know, if you come to our group, you'll see more on that. But there's a lot more information. What you need to do to exercise, particularly for your body type, what you need to eat for your body type, how your body type relaxes, because it's very, very different to the others. I was just explaining to Michelle before we came on the call, is I used to be a hammer thrower and I was training for the Olympic Games. So I used to do a lot of power, a lot of weight type sport, and I was 95 kilos then. So I had an injury, thank God, in hindsight, and I ruptured my disc in my back. Now I'm a Pitta Kapha body type. So then I went and did cycling, and within many months, 30 kilos just dropped off me like that. Why? Because I went from a power sport to an endurance sport, which suited my body type better. So, you know, when you're doing sometimes the wrong pathway or the wrong action, you may be following the wrong plan for yourself. And this is one of the mistakes people make. And the other mistake people make is it may not be suited to their mind. So just in real quick, a dynamo energy is visionary. They can't handle much. If I give them too much to do, they're like, oh my God, Joe, you just overwhelmed me. I don't even know where to start, right? Because you can only give them one or two things to do for their health, and that's enough. Don't give them any more. A blaze energy person is all about connection. So they're all about people. So they need to talk to you. If you give them everything in writing, just predict that they're not going to do it, because they need to have a conversation. They need to have a connection. They need to have some experience of you knowing that you're hearing them, and then they work really well. So they work well from consultation. Your tempo energy people, if you don't have a plan, that they can't see the plan or set out, and they can't see the particular goals that they need to make week by week, month by month, they check out as well. They're like, I don't even know where I'm going. I can't see the plan, right? And your steel energy, these are really funny. When I have them in clinic, they have all their blood reports in their back pocket, right? And they want to test you to see if you know what you're talking about. So they are all data and they analyze everything, and they will monitor everything by testing and measuring everything. So very different to work with these 4 different types of mind. It then splits into 8, by the way, but just to make it simple today, because you all do health very differently. So you've got to know how you do it and follow your own pathway. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and Joe, if I can just jump in for a second. Joe and I were just talking in February. AJ and I went to Bali to Roger Hamilton's iLab program that he runs all around the world. And one of the things I learned very quickly there about Roger is the way his brain works.
Yes,
In the
very
sense
fast.
of, and what I mean by that is, I don't know about all the models, but the majority of the models that Joe's sharing today are built off the back of this original consilience process that Roger has gone through to create a whole series of things. That's why you can see how the health connects to the wealth and the wealth connects to something else. So I just want you to appreciate like the genius behind that, because it is pretty impressive.
Yeah, because Roger created something called wealth dynamics, which is this square here, which is the genius of, we all are born a certain genius. And you think, like, if a fish tries to climb a tree, he thinks he's stupid, right? Or a monkey tries to swim, he thinks he's stupid. So you've actually got to find your own genius and run with that, because we are all geniuses. We do everything differently and we're not all the same, which is why having your own personalized path is so important. Yeah, so this is my profile. So when you actually do the profile report, you get this, you find out exactly, you get a 24-page report, and you find out exactly what it is. So I'm a lion, so I'm Pitta Kapha, and I'm a supporter. And so then when I run my way, I do health, or when I think and do business and stuff, it's very specific to my profile, right? So it's really, really important. This is what the report tends to look like. This is a different one, Kapha Vata accumulator. You get some graphs, you get all these different things about the symptoms of imbalances and how to have health and how to your primary way of doing things. So it's a really beautiful, beautiful report. We have clients that have done this and they go, oh my God, how did you know that about me? That's so amazing. And then it gives them a platform to actually work with and play with so that they can actually implement it as well. So this is one of the guys who was running one of these mistakes. So he was doing something particularly imbalanced for his body type. So this is Steve, a client of mine, and this is him. He looks really kapha, right? So he was really sluggish, really hard to move, hard to get off the couch. At that point in time, he was, and he'll tell because he says this publicly as well, he was spending $5,000 a week on Uber Eats. No, a month on Uber Eats. That was his bill, because he was too stressed. He was working too hard. He was trying to do everything. He was traveling a lot. And this was the best way. So he had like weight of 126 kilos. His energy was low. He always wanted to sleep, which is the worst thing for a kapha person to sleep. Stress was high. So even though he was kapha, the stress was causing him a lot of problems. He had a lot of sugar cravings. He had sleep apnea. So he wasn't on a machine yet, but he definitely had sleep apnea. He had joint pain all over his whole entire body. His glucose level was up, cholesterol level was up, acidity level was up, and testosterone was low. And he was having gallbladder issues. So he just kept on doing it. It took me a lot to work with him because I had to show him the mirror. I said to him, you can't be my client anymore because you're not listening. So I don't know why you're mucking around with your health. But if you don't do something about it, you're going to go down this pathway. But anyway, we showed him the mirror and he committed. And then all of a sudden now, he sent me a message the other day, so I just updated this morning. He's now 99 kilos, so he's lost like 27 kilos. He's abundant energy. He's got so much energy, he doesn't know what to do with it. He has low stress. He's meditating every day. He doesn't have any cravings anymore. He has no snoring. His wife is sleeping in the same bed as him now, so he's got his relationship back. He's got no pain in his body, only 5% left in the shoulder. Glucose is normal. Cholesterol is normal. Acidity is normal. Cardiovascular has skyrocketed. And he has no problems now stabilizing his blood sugar. So this guy only eats twice a day now because he's now eating for his body type, and he can't be any happier. So this is one of the mistakes people make, but if you put the plan in place, this is the way that you can actually shift that game plan. And this was some of his results just to show you how different from 2019 to 2020, he reduced his cholesterol from 6.2 to 4.1. His HDL, like his LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, went from 4.17 to 2.49, and his glucose went from 6.5 to 5.2 into normal range. So someone who was just about to go into full-blown diabetes avoided to have medication, so he didn't go into the disease process. So this is a really great way to see that. So I'm going to link it now. Yeah.
Just thinking about it's really interesting what you're saying in relation to what some of the experimental work that Michael Mosley's done as well around preventing diabetes, and some really, really similar connections to what you're both saying.
Yeah, perfect. Because I think the biggest thing is that diabetes can be definitely avoided, but we've got a generation that is going that way. They're going to die before their parents because their metabolism is actually quite impacted because of the low activity and high processed food, which is causing the problem. This is one we're seeing a lot at the moment, is mistake number 2, letting a stressed mind and body make important health decisions. Because when things are coming into your nervous system, you're buffering with food or alcohol or like hibernation or doing something. You're not actually taking control of that. You're not doing processes that, you know, like yoga or meditation or things like that. So this is what we're seeing out in the marketplace. Do this, face mask. And so why is it that our body is stressed from all of this? There's nothing in the shopping aisles. People are fighting over toilet paper. It's like, you got to be serious. It's insane, right? So there's all these things that are like in the media. So please only get an update. Don't watch everything, because everything that is coming into your nervous system, you have to try to work. You've got enough stresses as it is. So this is something to definitely start to avoid. I'm going to show you a case of a client of mine. This is Francesca. She was making this mistake. She was running her online business and also doing workshops. That's had to change dramatically now because she can't do workshops. But she basically came where she was really stressed all the time and she couldn't lose weight. And she had some hormonal problems as well, estrogen issues. Estrogen is very much linked to your liver, and liver is linked to your muscles and tendons and ligaments, and then it's also linked to the way that you detoxify. So she was trying everything. She'd done everything she could. She just thought, nah, I'm never going to be able to lose weight. She's an Italian woman. She looks beautiful, as she was, but she didn't realize that if you look at the first mistake, she thought she was a kapha. So she thought that's who she was. But if you look at this picture, it's very clear that she's a vata body type. So she was holding all this excess kapha weight because she was eating pasta, pizza, all the Italian type foods, because she's like, I can't give this up. And that's what she So she used food as a buffering. And as soon as she learned about her body type, as soon as she learned about who she was, that she was having this imbalance, she shifted the game. We detoxified her actually, and we detoxified Steve as well. When you reset the gut has a particular way to connect to the brain, which is serotonin. So when the gut is clear, you release 70 to 90% of serotonin to the brain. So the brain then says, I don't need to eat because I'm relaxed, right? So your gut is your second brain, which a lot of people don't realize. So this is the shift that can happen in a short period of time, actually, because this was only 3 months that she actually shifted from one to the other, and the weight just dropped off her, right? Making sure that was happening. Any questions there, Michelle? Keep going.
No, keep going. There's no questions, but I just wanted to add something to what you just said, because it was only a couple of years ago that I was reading something where I made the connection about, you think of neurotransmitters and you think of being produced through the body, but traditionally we think they're in the brain, but the majority of them are produced in the gut. That's fascinating, because then you start to be able to realize how food controls your mood, and that depending on what you're eating, that creates more dopamine or less serotonin and creates an emotional reality around you based on what you're putting in your mouth. And that's a really powerful connection.
I love that, because when you say that, I think of a client of mine who was a young man. He's only 25. He was having 16 bowel motions a day. He couldn't leave the house because he didn't know where the bathroom was, right? So the stress that he had on his gut response to everything. So we did some stuff around parasite. We did stuff around his digestion. We did stuff around the diet. He could hardly eat anything because he would just react to everything. And I saw him the other day, and I've been working with him for 3 months, and he's now having 1 to 2 bowel motions a day and everything is settled. He goes, Jo, you know what the biggest thing is? Is that I don't have to think about where the bathroom is. I'm not used to not having that stress, right? And that stress and overwhelming was actually causing it to just kept going and kept going. He had no certainty that his gut was actually going to stay in control, or is it going to have an accident, or he's going to poo his pants or something like that. You don't even think that it's just a tiny little thing that we forget about, that's a big issue for some people, and he's 25 and
And I think we don't realize the interconnection either. But someone that does have a question at the moment for you. How do I reduce mucus in my chest and sinus?
Yeah, so mucus in your chest and sinus is a kapha problem. So one of the things we do is we first of all reduce mucus in the stomach. So it's making sure no banana, no avocado, no cheese, no dairy. So that's the main things that we get rid of. And then we start using things which are more pungent, like ginger and black pepper and cumin, to add these things into our diet. And also have teas of turmeric and ginger. We also use as well to basically digest the mucus and clear it out. But there might be more things causing the mucus, so it depends on what's actually causing it. But that's a good little starter anyway.
Thank you.
Okay, so treating the effects instead of treating the cause. This happens a lot. So this talked about the health spectrum that I talked about, that you're treating the symptomology. And this, I call him young, but he's 51. Tony came to me. He's a patient of mine from London, and he had so many issues in his body. I think if I move us to the side there, we can see it. So in 2019, he weighed 104 kilos, and this is the guy who was doing all the stats, right? 27.6% body fat. And I started working with him in February, and he basically had 16 different things on his list of what he wanted to achieve. He had like psoriasis, he had like an eczema all over his body. He had like an itch in his legs that he couldn't get rid of. He had a tummy swollen that he couldn't get the bloating down. He had fat that he tried to reduce. But when I went through all of his diet, he was he was putting topical creams on. He was trying to treat his skin in lots of different ways, taking all these different supplementation, which was costing him a fortune. And as soon as we reset the gut, and again, we cleansed him as well, you're getting a bit of a theme that cleansing is the best way to get rid of most things, because if you don't reset your body, you don't pick up the immune system. So he did that. And then within a short period of time, he basically dropped his weight. And I love this story because he was in a photo with his daughter when she was in graduation. And the person sent a thing, "Who's that guy that's next to you?" And she goes, "You joking? That's my dad." They're like, "What? That is your dad?" And so she thought he had a new man or something, but his youthfulness just came back. But he has got so much energy and things like that. He's actually like in law, and he's also written a book now, which is Struggling to Cuddling. So working with relationships and things like that.
Well, someone in the chat's already said he's hot, so they've got their
So he's a really beautiful person as well. So because stop treating the symptom, he was running around treating the 16 different things on his list. But as soon as we went to the core and treated his gut, it all just disappeared. And then he now hardly has to exercise, and he maintains his weight really well. And everything else in his body is just maintained beautifully. So that's one of the big mistake here. Some people were asking that question before about the location and where things get stuck in your body. This is mistake number 4, which is not detoxing regularly or not detoxing correctly. So I have a lot of clients who do juice diet, raw diet. There's so many paleo diet. There's all these different things. They're going, "Yeah, I've done a detox." I'm going, "Really? You've done a detox and you've still got all these problems in your body?" I don't believe it. Because a proper detox is you have to go and clean out the house, all the nooks and crannies, everything. You have to go in and get everything sort of moving, get things moving out of the channels. Because you can only strengthen a body that's clean, right? So if it's not clean and the channels are blocked, I have clients who come to me, "I don't know why I've got problems. I eat so well. I've got good nutrition." I said, "Yeah, you might, but you're not absorbing them." So, looking at making sure you clean the body first. It's like cleaning the house. You have to spring clean the house. When you move house, you think your house was pretty clean, until you move all the furniture out and you go, "Oh my God, it's not so clean after all. Look at what's under the fridge. Look at what's here. There's dust and stuff everywhere." Now, if you don't take your body in for a maintenance check every two times a year, like you take your car, your body's not going to function. So this is definitely mistake number 4. And this is where Martin, one of my clients, had a massive transformation. He came to me with arthritis. He had he was taking pain medication for that, and he had asthma. So He was taking bronchial medication and everything like that for the asthma and things like that as well. He was exercising nearly 1 to 2 hours per day and not getting the result. He was just staying like this. And I remember having a consult with him and I said, oh my God, Martin, look at your bones. He said, what do you mean? I said, look at your clavicle. So what happened is all the lymphatic tissue, all the blockages started to leave. So all this inflammation here just started to disappear, because he was cleaning all the areas of his body. Yes, he turned out to have an amazing body afterwards, and he only exercised like half an hour to 45 minutes a day now, and he still maintains a really great body. He's working with us now on teaching people how to exercise for your body type, because most people are doing it wrong. So making sure that you detox correctly. And one of the things we put in detox is mung soup. So I remember having a conversation with him, and he said he never addressed what he was eating. He only thought he would have to do what he was doing in exercise. So some people are exercising, I say, to eat, but you need to eat to exercise, right? So people go, oh, I need to eat lots so I can, I need to exercise so I can eat more, but it's not always the solution. So making sure that you do it in that particular way.
We've got a couple of questions, but I might just let you wrap up with number 5 and
then we can ask the questions.
And then so that's fine.
The last one is being out of the sync and the rhythms of nature. Why I love this one, and this is why it's so important. Has anyone looked up in the sky lately? Have you seen how beautiful the stars are? Have you seen how clean the sky is? Have you seen the rivers and the ocean and how beautiful everything is moving? Mother Nature is having the most amazing rest right now. So she's living in the sync of nature, and it's actually made us more aware of what we're doing to this planet Earth, and how it's been destroying it. And all of a sudden that we're all locked down and we're all doing things differently. Who knows if the coronavirus is there to actually stop us? Because they've been talking about climate change, they've been talking about all these different things. Well, all of a sudden the politicians are all on the same page at the moment. Right, get them on the same page of climate change, we couldn't do it. But now they're going, okay, maybe we've been out of the sync of nature. So one of the mistakes people are making is not living to the rhythm. You have to live into a rhythm. And something that we do in Ayurveda is that most of the time my clients come who are living out of sync of nature is all those people that I spoke about before. They were all living out of sync of nature. So they weren't going to bed at 10 o'clock. If you don't go to bed at 10, you're not detoxifying your liver, because between 10 and 2, you detoxify your liver. There is a slightly different rhythm for the different body types. So if you're living out of these syncs, then disease process happens. So this is basically the last mistake, but it's a mistake that causes a lot of the big problems. And we've seen it actually in the planet as well.
Okay, fantastic. Now what we might do, I might get you to just unshare your screen now,
sure.
And we'll go to questions. And there is a couple of people that have asked a question. So I'm laughing because the question's funny, but also because the person changed their name to anonymous attendee before they wrote the question. So this is why do I sometimes pass wind that is smelly or sometimes not smelly at all?
Okay, because when it is odorous, it means there's bacteria. And sometimes it's because you've eaten something which is high sugar, and then the bacteria is growing on that sugar and you're getting a byproduct from that bacteria overgrowth. And passing wind is normal. Like our body is supposed to basically digest and pass a certain amount of wind, and that's usually the body eliminating air, which is a buildup of air quality in the tissue. And by passing it, it actually clears it out. But by passing it, which is odorous, means there's bacteria involved as well.
Okay, fantastic. A couple of comments that are coming off the Facebook group. Someone's saying they love the simplicity of it. They're not used to making, oh no, we are too used to making health complicated, is what the person said.
Totally simple.
Yeah, it's so true, and it's so intuitive, isn't it? Which is interesting. Someone's saying, can you do the profile online? Yes, you can. We've already placed the links in the group, so that's all good. Yeah. Another person, and if you've got any other questions for Jo, pick her brain while she's there. Just drop them in the Q&A box or on the Facebook live stream if you're there. So this next question is, what's your take on home-brewed kombucha?
Yes, the kombucha is good, right? But the thing is, some people go overloaded, right? So you've got to remember it's fermented. So if you have too much and your body can't digest it, then you're putting a huge amount of even sugar into your system. Kombucha will create its own sugar. So then bacteria can grow on that. So a little tiny bit, a little nip is all you need, but people have like big glasses or big bottles and they overdo it.
And people are asking how they connect with you, Jo.
Yeah, so I can share the next part if you like, because people always like to know what can they do next. So okay. I can show you a little bit around about that. So I'll reconnect my screen because we have something that we put together, which is like an immune boosting pack. So it's some things that you can do for free and some things that you can take for action, right? So if you're worried about your health at this time and you want to act on something, this is really good for you if you want to take action. So be proactive while you're in lockdown. So many of our clients have said, oh my God, I'm loving the lockdown. I'm getting so many things done. I'm looking after my health. I'm cooking. If you want to protect yourself and your family, if you're in front line and you need to protect yourself because you are out in the environment, you also need to do something that you're putting that in place. Or the steps that you should take now, you're uncertain about that. So these are the things. So you have two choices. You either can do it and try to work it out on your own, or you can come and just follow some steps and get yourself into our community where we can keep giving you advice as well. So this is something where you can get your own immune boosting pack. So if you can drop that link in there, Michelle, which is healthdynamics360.com/immunity. Do you want me to drop that in?
Yeah, that'd be great. And in the meantime, I'll just give you a couple of other questions that people are asking. Where are you based? It sounds like, I think they're really asking, do you do consultations worldwide?
Yes, we do. We're based in Brisbane locally, but we do consultations worldwide because I have patients all over the world. At the moment, we're running a detoxification program and we have 47 people and very minimal of them are actually Brisbane based. 10 of them in US and Canada. So it's the biggest.
Yeah. We have another question, which is, what is the general simple food that you advise on a daily basis for a normal person?
Oh, that's a big question. I would say plant-based, right? So if you can think plant-based, lots of vegetables, at least 70% vegetables, and try to reduce your animal-based protein. That's the biggest two things that we get people to do because it makes such a big difference immediately if you go more plant-based, and try to have it slightly cooked because then your digestion is working a little bit better as well. So
fantastic. And another person's commenting about matching the heart vibration with the earth vibration based on what you said just earlier.
Yeah. I think if we all tap into that, it's such a beautiful time right now, is that really the world and us can actually become united again, which is actually a really nice thing as well. Sorry, you go.
I was just going to say absolutely. And I think that very often in our lives, if we think about how our lives work, it's the crisis that has created the opportunity.
I totally agree.
Now is no different to that. Yes, we are experiencing a crisis, but everything to do with the way that we get through this and what we learn as a result of it and how we change as humans, as a species after it, is to do with our ability to step back and say, what's actually going on here from the point of view of a pattern? What are we actually noticing? Yeah,
that's a good point, because a lot of my clients that I've been having conversations with, they're like, I'm not going to actually do those meetings like that anymore. I'm not going to actually work like that anymore, because I've realized that I don't have to be running around like a crazy woman or a crazy man and not being productive and not having a work-life balance. So it's really interesting to see that shift as well. So
fantastic. Well, we are rapidly coming up to time. So if you
so I'll finish this. So what do you get?
You want to wrap up?
Yeah, so what do you get if you join the Immune Booster Pack? So these are some things. First of all, you'll get the free download, and we can also make this available whether you do get the booster pack or not. You'll get the health spectrum test, the free download. You'll also get a consult, one-on-one consult, which will mean we can go through what's going on for you. You'll get 3 immune boosting herbs, which is Toxico, which helps you to break up those toxins I talked about. Virofight, which works on breaking and hitting viruses to protect your system. And Astrolock, which someone talked about, the mucus, actually digesting that mucus out of the system. You get into our 4 weekly immune. So we had to go over things really quickly today, Michelle, but we explain it more over 4 weeks, where we break it all down into step-by-step process. and you get the health dynamics test, which normally by itself is $97 as well. So you get to do your test and find out your profile and get 24-page report. This is the herbs that you get. So this is something that we use worldwide and can be shipped worldwide as well. So these are the people who should purchase if you're suffering from your immune system, you have any allergies or skin problems, you have pain in your body, you have the low fatigue, or you really want to reach a higher level of performance. So the pack is $297. It's US dollars because we're an international company in health dynamics. So if you want to get that, then you'll get all those things in there. If not, there's all the things that we're putting down in all the links that you can get the PDF and stuff like that. So come on to our Personalized Health Movement group and we'll give you the spectrum test, the PDF and everything, so you have all that information. But if you want to make action and go, I want to have it all, then you can actually go and connect it all.
Fantastic. We have a lot of very grateful humans online right now saying that Jo is so generous and how much they have enjoyed the presentation. And I think different people who are on have appreciated different elements, which is how it should work with a presentation like this.
Yeah.
So I just want to say a big thank you on behalf of AJ and I from the Superhuman Summit point of view for you coming and committing your time and energy and resources and knowledge and being part of another community. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. You can see I love it. So thank you so much for having me as your guest.
And for those people who are wondering what's next, it is the lovely Becky Mitchell at 10 o'clock. So feel free to go and renew your cup of tea and we'll see you back here in about
Maybe have ginger, lemon and honey, huh?
Ginger, lemon and honey tea. Perfect. Oh, I wish someone would make that for me right now.
Good.
Right, thanks again, Jo.
Thanks, Michelle. Take care.
See you. Bye.
Ciao.